Hello all, Tot here with a new video, and it's a new entry into the Saints of the Voice series I made with Voice Starvation. And I'm going to go through some figures, a lot of them, ones I look up to, ones I aspire to be, that really exemplify the voice, ending or at least classifying one as very important, very topical, so to speak. And I don't want to spoil it here, but it really shouldn't be too much of a surprise, but that'll be later on. And the first character, or the first person I'd like to shine a spotlight on, is Dave Chappelle. He's he's my favorite comedian. He's my favorite philosopher. And he's made me laugh and grow and think in ways that have always challenged me. And one time, later on in the video I'll get to, he challenged my thinking very, very powerfully and gave me a question that I've been trying to answer for about 2 decades. Okay. Anyway, anyway, you see, I watched Dave Chappelle when I was in my teens. The Dave Chappelle Show. It was on Comedy Central. Usually at night after school, I'd watch it, and it was very funny. It was very insightful, and it showed a side of life I never thought possible. A side of a person's identity that I didn't think was, the same as my own, made me think of others, allowed my empathy, allowed my critical thinking to manifest. And he had some of the funniest things I've ever seen on air. For instance, one of my favorites was Prince versus Charlie Murphy in a game of pickup basketball late at night after the club. Now, I didn't understand any of that growing up. I knew who Prince was. I didn't know Charlie Murphy. I do now. May he rest in peace. And all I saw was a man wearing a very controversial outfit, a very flamboyant outfit, versus a group of men playing in the standard t shirts and shorts. And on that base alone, it's just hilarious. And Dave Chappelle played the character beautifully, perfectly, and just encapsulated all the absurdity into one skit. And I learned later on that stuff happened for real, like 100% happened. It seems Prince used to be a very good basketball player, point guard, all that, and he was very good at it. And he actually had the stuff ready to go, waiting. And I'm thinking that's gotta be that just proves reality's funnier than fiction, just right there. The universe is the best jokester next to Dave Chappelle. And you see, at age about teens, you think you know it all. You think you understand everything. You think you know the whole world. And the one thing, growing up in some of the bad parts of neighborhoods and other places, I figured every person has a price. Everybody. You know, that there was no low nobody would go, no high nobody would try to achieve. There's always a price, a standard price. And Dave Chappelle proved me wrong, 100% wrong, and I'm very grateful he did. Really opened my mind, expanded. He expanded my mind in ways that are still taking place today, still growing, evolving. Because he proved one thing: not every person has a price. You know what happened? I believe it was NBC who wanted to take complete control over his show, The Dave Chappelle Show, for about, I think, $50 million. Now, as a kid, I used to price things in terms of video games, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, magazines, candy bars, simple, simple like placeholders of value. I couldn't fathom 8 figures or 50 million. I couldn't even fathom 50,000 at that time. So when you added freaking three extra zeros, it blew my mind. Like, what could you do with that? And Dave Chappelle did something I never thought I'd see in my life. He said no thinks. He didn't take the money. His voice, his creative control, his baby was more important than the money, the fame, the legacy, and he just said no. And this blew my mind. For lack of any other concrete terms, it completely shifted my perspective. My frame shifted in my mind. It's like, wait a minute. I, I see my father going to work for somebody. I see my uncle going to work. I see people just working their time away for very insubstantial amounts of money, you know, which money has no value, but here was enough he could retire, have generational wealth, and just change the whole destiny of his family and many others. But he said no. He just didn't do it. And that's fascinating to me. He made me think some people are just different, that they're just built different. I mean, as a person, he's a very interesting film. I still watch him to this day. I love his Netflix specials. I watch his shorts all the time. He's very good at what he does. He's been doing it since longer than I've been alive, so that probably helps. And he's a very interesting man. Very cool character, and he makes me, even today, he makes me think. For he may be a comedian, but he's also a truth teller, a seeker of honesty, and he always makes me think. I can always walk away from whatever monologue, skit, bit he has and think of it. And he too was nearly canceled, but it didn't work. It didn't affect him. It possibly only made him stronger, and it showed that his vision, his creative control, his design was more important than what others put on him, and it was a fascinating watch. And I love watching Dave Chappelle. I'd love to meet him one day, or at least go to one of his shows, or several of them. Never seen him in live, and just get that energy. Just bask in that radiance, you know what I mean? About how he does his craft, how he's a master at it. I want to see it. I want to experience it. I bet it'd be life changing, honestly. Even if it wasn't as good as other points, at least I get to see him. That he was real. That he was a real person making these jokes, making these commentaries and these observations, expunging them in ways that are entertaining and educational and insightful. And yeah, that's another saying the voice down. Dave Chappelle. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a nice day.